Share the love with South Africa's most loved dog food, Bobtail, for strong South African dogs.
So, of course, we have Dr. Roy in studio with us, talking a bit about dog etiquette, what to do when you take your dog outside the home environment for a walk, and also what to do if your dog gets into a fight with another dog. Dr. Roy, good morning.
Morning, you, and you're very smart this morning.
Thank you very much. I see you've got the animal version there of James Bond on.
Lots of pockets for my guns.
You know what I'm saying, your gadgets. Right, so a very interesting topic. What to do when you take your dog outside to avoid a confrontation or fight with another dog. What are some of the things that you need to keep in mind?
Common sense.
Oh, right. Okay.
Common sense, yes. First of all, if some people think that keeping a dog on a lead may increase its aggression, and there's the other camp that say letting the dog off the lead may increase its aggression. So the bottom line is you need to control your dog, and the law is very specific. It defines in a public space your dog has to be controlled, and by definition that means being on a lead. Yeah. Now, you might not like it, but that's what the law says.
Exactly.
If the dog is off the lead and it causes a problem, let's say there are two dogs, one off, one on the lead, and a little dog runs up off the lead to a big dog that's on the lead, and the little dog attacks the big dog, and the big dog responds and unfortunately damages the little dog. The law is clear. The big dog is on the lead, the little dog is off the lead, and even though it's unfair, it's the law, the little dog is responsible. The owner is responsible for his own injuries. Okay. And if that little dog accidentally hurts the big dog as well, then that owner is responsible for the big dog's injuries.
I understand, because this is very important for me, because I take my dogs to the beach quite often, but it also comes down to, put the law aside, I know my dogs. So is this something that, as an owner, you need to understand your dog and know that they will come when you call them, that they're well behaved, and if they're not, they need to be on a leash?
It's absolutely critical. People walk into the practice and they do know their dogs. You know that if your dog is in a public space, it may cause a problem. And if that's the case, then you need to basically responsible ownership.
Responsible ownership. Let's talk a bit about the injuries. If, for some unfortunate event, the two dogs get in a fight, there's some damage to either dog, maybe even to an owner because of trying to stop the fight. How do you approach a dog fight? What do you do as an owner?
It's a problem. I mean, to try and separate two fighting dogs that are off a lead is a major problem. I mean, I have no quick fixes to try and grab a back leg, two people pulling the dogs apart. Major problem. And I mean, we had a problem. My wife had our dog on a lead, and some other dog came bounding up off the lead. There was a bit of an altercation, and my poor wife's finger, her thumb, was bitten off and had to be reattached by a plastic surgeon. So there's serious and grievous bodily harm that can be done to you in the situation. These are creatures with teeth. They may be domesticated, but boy, when they bite.
You see, up until that point, you wouldn't really understand the strength of dogs when they actually fight. The injuries that they can sustain can be quite severe.
Yes, and when to take the dog to a vet. I think most dog bites, if you have access to a vet and you can get to a vet, they need to be seen. Very often, the puncture wound, which is the deep bite that doesn't really tear skin.
For those canines.
Yeah, that probably will cause more damage because you get infection,
deep inside.
You get injection of infection, and you very often get an abscess. The ones where there's an actual tear, where there's a cut and you can see a little bit of, it's open, those ones can be disinfected, cleaned. But vets are reluctant to stitch certain dog bites because, once again, you have infection, you close the wound and you're closing it in. But each vet will approach this differently, and he has his own experiences, and basically we build our techniques on the basis of our experience.
Dr. Roy, thank you so much for joining us this morning
pleasure.
On the International James Bond Day, and it all comes down to you as an owner. Be a responsible dog owner. Know your dog. Right now, it's over to the Express ladies.